Hello, everyone. I know it's been a while, but hey, I'm back. College life's caught up with me, and I'm here with a new story called Coco Gets Coffee. I hope you enjoy. I'm trying out a new microphone, and let's see how this goes. Oh, that silly Coco thought to herself as she trotted down the busy Manhattan street that was littered with dozens of ponies. Coco had been employed by Surrey for a number of years now, trying to make it big in the city. If I had just a little more courage, I bet I could make it in this city all on my own, she thought. Coco swiftly shunned the thought she just had. Her, a little mare in a big city like this, make it on her own? That's just silly, she thought in a rather sad tone. Surrey had just told Coco to go get her coffee after Rarity had just found out what they had done with the fabric she had lent Surrey the night before. Coco had stayed up all night making new dresses and was surprised she was even able to walk down the street without collapsing from exhaustion. Then again, she stayed up countless other nights making dresses at the last moment for Surrey. I guess I've grown accustomed to pulling all-nighter or two in a row, she thought. But something ached in the back of Coco's mind. She knew deep down what Surrey had done was wrong, but it worked so well that it was hard to argue right and wrong. After all, if it was wrong, it wouldn't have been so praised at the runway. She kept contemplating this until she arrived at the coffee house, only a few Manhattan blocks away. She entered in to find nothing more than more lines, just like the entire city. But she loved it here. The hustle, bustle, the heartbeat of the city. She wouldn't give it away for the world. She looked up at the menu, scanning over different drinks that were offered. Coco herself had never drank coffee, nor had she really shown interest. It had a bitter scent to it, and although most of the drinks were made with flavoring and whipped cream that was sweet and tasty on top, there was no denying the bitter contents of the cup that were still there. Coffee reminded her a lot of Surrey in that way, but she never tells Surrey that. It would ruin her entire chance at a big-time career. As she approached the counter ever closer, her eyes still fixed on the menu, she felt herself bump into a rather sturdy object. As her eyes lowered to see what she had bumped into, she realized it wasn't so much a what, but a who. He was a light blue unicorn with blue hair, a nice shirt and tie, but most striking of his features was that he was still wearing sunglasses in the shop. Although they had bumped to where she could see his eye for a split second, Coco quickly backed up in shock that she had just run into some pony and tried to apologize, but just couldn't find the words to do so. The unicorn fixed his glasses and turned to face her. "Are you all right?" he said in a rather nice voice. Coco felt it was warm but strong, and almost caring in a way. As she oh God, I cannot speak tonight. As she contemplated this, the stallion just looked at her oddly, as she remained in her trance. Hello?" he asked again. Coco shook her head to return to reality and closed her eyes and smiled. "Yeah, I'm okay. I didn't mean to bump into you like that." Coco didn't quite end with a real sentence. She had tried to call him by his name, even though she had never met this pony. She mumbled shyly as she opened her eyes and looked at him, scared that he'd think something was wrong with her. "Rising Star, that's my name." He completed her sentence without even hesitating. Coco noticed that the line had moved quite a way since the incident had started, and saw that Rising Star was next in line, and the barista pony at the counter was looking at them with agitated eyes. She wondered how long she had kept the pony at the counter waiting. "I think you're next," Coco said in a rather squeaky voice. Rising Star turned around to see that there was no ponies ahead of him in line anymore, and looked back at Coco. "So it seems. Can I get you anything?" he asked. Coco opened her mouth to tell him what she thought sounded good, but stopped while she inhaled to begin speaking. She wasn't here to have drinks with some stallion she just met. She was supposed to be getting her boss a beverage. But as she began thinking, Surrey didn't really need a refreshment, and she could always say that she was stuck in line. Thanks to it being the middle of the day and every pony wanted a drink, "I'll have a black tie," Coco said to the stallion, still not sure what she was doing. As she said it, She looked back down at Rising Star's tie and quickly blushed and looked away. I mean, the drink, not your tie. You can keep that. Her words trailing off as she hid her embarrassment. Rising Star chuckled and went to the counter ordering both their drinks. After they got their drinks, they sat down at a small booth large enough to fit three and sat opposite ends so they could face each other. A few moments passed without any talking and as they waited for the drinks to cool. It may have only been a couple minutes, but Coco thought she had just sat there staring at Rising Star for hours on end, and must seem extremely weird to the handsome stallion. "So, you know my name, but I don't think I got yours," Rising said to Coco, as she looked down at herself and her drink, trying not to look at him too much. She looked back up blushing. It was very rude to not introduce herself, and she couldn't believe she had done that. "My name is Coco Pommel," she stated in a soft voice. Rising took a drink of his coffee, which Coco thought was amazing. She didn't have magic or anything, and would have to fiddle around with her hoofs to drink her coffee, while Rising Star just levitated it with magic, not even lifting a hoof. Coco had always thought of unicorn magic as the most marvelous thing in all of Equestria. So versatile and helpful, but also it had some class to it. Oh, what she wouldn't give to be a unicorn. "I think that's a lovely name," Rising said to her. She could feel herself blushing, but couldn't bring herself to say anything back. All she could muster was a slight grin. That she hid while trying to veil her blushing yet again. They spoke to one another for what seemed like hours, and Coco didn't really care how long she sat there with him. Every moment was magical as the handsome stallion in front of her. Finally, a new topic came up. "So, Coco, what do you do for a living in Manhattan?" Rising asked. As Coco opened her mouth to speak, her eyes flew wide open and she scrunched her mouth up. Coco had just realized that she was supposed to be getting Surrey coffee, and instead she had been spending all this time with some stallion. She could imagine how much trouble she would be in when Surrey found her, and she knew she couldn't avoid Surrey forever. Coco got up from the booth without talking and started to head towards the counter to get Surrey's coffee and leave. As she started to step away, she turned back to Rising Star. "I'm really sorry. I just remembered I had to do something for my boss. I hate to just run out on you. I was having the most fun I've had since I moved up here to Manhattan." "Maybe we could have coffee again sometime," she asked. But she really wasn't waiting for an answer. Up to this point, Coco had just been giving short answers that got the point across. And for her to be so upfront about something and outspoken took Rising Star by surprise. She closed her eyes, tilted her head to the side, and smiled at him. "Thanks again for the coffee, Rising. I hope to see you soon," Coco said as she headed out to get Surrey's coffee and returned to her. After arriving back at Surrey's apartment, she was scolded for being so late. The story about how long the lines were really didn't cut it with as long as it had taken her, but Surrey didn't question it. She just suspected that Coco was walking slowly and slacking off yet again. But Coco knew not every pony in this town was that bad, and spending time with Rising Star gave her hopes for her future. And once, when Coco looked at the coffee Surrey was drinking, she thought to herself, "I guess coffee isn't all that bad." Well, that was just a little short one. I feel I'm going to be doing more of these recently. I hope you enjoyed it. I know I enjoyed reading it myself. So, with that, I bid you all adieu, and I thank you for listening.